What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the video for today, and I'm coming at you from gorgeous Lake Placid, New York. We were up here. The team was up here for Ironman Lake Placid this past weekend, and it was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. We all crossed the finish line. That's all that matters. But something that's kind of important to what just happened. I want to talk about volume of fluids during training right now, and this is something that was very pertinent this past weekend, as it was very hot, very humid, deceiving. But basically, the notion that most people aren't taking enough water, and you really need to get a lot of fluids in, a substantial amount of fluids in while you're training, especially in hot weather, especially humid weather, or if you sweat a lot. So, the basic idea is, most people just kind of sip stuff as they're going through their training and their racing, and you really want to be getting a lot more in to facilitate more efficiency for your body and your blood. So what's the take home? You want to get 1 liter to 1.5 liters worth of fluids in your body. That can even get up to kind of 2 liters per hour, depending on the type of conditions you're in. If it's very hot, very humid, because when it's humid out, you're really not going to be as efficient at kind of cooling yourself, at the surface of your skin. If you're a heavy sweater, you're losing a lot of fluids there too. So getting 1 liter to 1.5 liters worth of fluids per hour, up to 2 liters an hour if it's really, really brutal out there, and it seems like it's a lot. But I mean, throw your hands up if you've ever felt like you've been dehydrated, or you're just struggling, you're getting that headache, you got to walk, you just feel like you don't have it in you anymore. Even some gut issues. Sometimes sipping water is really the only thing that matters, because the important part about taking fluids is that you want to make sure you have enough blood volume in your body to help facilitate activity, to help facilitate efforts. And so, what taking in the fluids does is it actually increases your blood plasma volume. So the overall amount of fluid volume that you have in your body from your blood to deliver oxygen, red blood cells, nutrients to your muscles that are going to be working, to deliver fluids to help hydrate and facilitate efforts. Keep your blood pressure, where it needs to be, but also it's going to help you thermoregulate. Again, who's been out racing in the hot weather and you start to get really, really hot, the overall amount of fluids that you have in your body is going to help your body self-regulate temperature so you don't overheat. Sweating happens no matter what, because your body is trying to expel that heat somehow, right? But you need to replace those fluids to help internally regulate your temperature. So total fluid volume, really, really important. Again, a lot of people don't understand how much fluids you really need to take in. There's no shortage of ways that we can do it. I mean, obviously we had a bike race this weekend, so no shortage of bike bottles, things like that. Whatever product you're using, I want to thank our sponsors, Poland Spring. I'm just kidding, we don't have sponsors. This is just a jug that I use because it makes it really easy to mix my fluids beforehand if I'm putting a powder or some other type of nutrition in there, and then I just fill up my bottles. But to kind of put in perspective for you guys, this is your standard, 24-ounce bottle. We actually have liter bike bottles as well, so they get up to 33 ounces. They're the big ones. And going through 3 of those an hour, 3 of those for a single leg on the trip, which was a 3-hour thing, in addition to taking water at every aid station, supplementing as much as I could. And I actually think I was still under where I needed to be for it. It was a very deceivingly hot day out. It was very humid and didn't catch up with me until the second leg of the bike. But taking about 1 liter to 1.5 liters worth of fluids per hour was my goal. And I still think I was a little bit, under where I needed to be for that. I was on point for that part of the nutrition. The math just wasn't my favorite still, because I didn't realize how hot it was. And really, what's the danger of taking too much fluids? You're going to end up peeing. I mean, it's something we do every day, right? Everybody does it. So don't be afraid to take in more fluids, than you think you need, whether it's cycling, running, rowing, any other type of exercise. Runners, a lot of times people are wearing these hydration packs also, which is great. But I still think they're only sipping it a little bit. They're not refueling. Same thing with running. I mean, we got these great hand flasks now. This is 300 milliliters. I have another one that's 500 milliliters. So you can get a decent amount of fluids in you. And sometimes you just got to plan for it. If you're training, pick a loop where you can loop back around to your car and set yourself up for success that way, to keep topping off. Maybe if you go by a gas station, if you have some cash on you, or something like that, that's going to be really important. Obviously for racing, you want to take advantage of your knowledge of the race course and what kind of aid stations are they going to have for you. But it's really, really important. It's not something that you should, skimp out on, and say, oh, I'm just going to, drink a little bit. I'm not going to need that much. even on a fall, cold fall, winter day, you're still going to want to get, a liter of fluids in you per hour. Your body's working. You're going to be burning that off. You're going to be sweating a little bit, even though you may not realize it. So your body's going to crave those fluids. And again, you need it for blood volume. You need it for delivering, the precious cargo to your muscles, your red blood cells, oxygen, nutrients, all that good stuff. You need it to thermoregulate, keep your blood pressure up where it needs to be, help with digestion. So proper fluid volumes, that's really the take home here. And, we had no shortage of, means to carry it this weekend. It just, we needed a little bit more because of the conditions. And so doesn't change the take home. 1 liter to 1.5 liters worth of fluids per hour. If you're a heavy sweater, you're going to be on the high end of that. If it's really hot and humid out, you're going to be on the high end of that. You may even blow past that threshold on really unique days. So, we experienced it this weekend. Thankfully, we pulled all the tricks we could out in the books, and we crossed the finish line. It wasn't pretty, but we got there. Learned a little bit more about, how to be a bit more efficient here as well. For a race that had a very high DNF rate, but thankfully, Team Feldman was not part of that. So, if you guys have any questions on nutrition, fluids, or anything like that, let us know. Next video is going to be about sodium intake and electrolytes and why you need those in addition to all the precious fluids you're taking in. So that's it. Fluids, you got to take it no matter what. I used to be one of those people that said, I don't need that much water. I'll just, kind of power through it. Again, you may not just be worried about injuries and, stopping training or bonking. It has to do with performance as well. And so I really still have not yet met a runner who said they don't want free speed. So if I told you could get faster and perform better without having to do any extra training, just about taking in more stuff, come on, who would do that? So fluid, all right, 1 liter to 1.5 liters per hour. Doesn't matter the form. If you're taking anything, it's going to have it. We had chicken broth on the course. That counts as well as fluid volume. So any questions, let us know, guys, but get to sipping.